Hello and welcome to Extra Credit, the McAllen ISD podcast that takes a close look at programs that benefit you and your family. I'm your host, Ollie Perez, and today we're going to talk about our counseling program. My guest is the Director of the College Career and Counseling for McAllen ISD, Ms. Norma Cabrera. Ms. Cabrera, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. So, what are some of the services your counselors provide across the district?
Okay, so some of the services that our counselors provide are academic support for all students, social emotional support, crisis intervention, individual guidance, anything that our students need in order to be successful in school.
Absolutely, thank you. So, do you guys have counselors at like every campus?
We do. We have certified counselors at every single one of our campuses. Our elementary schools have one counselor at each of the schools, except for our bigger schools like Milam and Gonzalez. They have 2 assigned counselors. Our middle schools have 2 counselors at each school, with the exception of Morris. Morris has 3 counselors because of their enrollment. And then, of course, our high schools have academic counselors and specialized counselors.
So when it comes to college, like I'm sure it's easy for students to feel a little bit overwhelmed about the application process. How exactly would you say counselors help students navigate that sort of process?
So we have specialized counselors at all of our schools, our high schools. We have college admission scholarship specialist counselors, and all they focus on is college awareness, college preparation. So they work with different groups, and what they do is they provide a lot of support in awareness for our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. And then 12th graders, they have 3 main duties, and those are scholarships, college applications, and FAFSA. All seniors need to complete those 3 areas, which is all seniors, 100% of our seniors complete a FAFSA form unless they opt out. 100% of our seniors submit applied texts or a common app for college unless they opt out. And then also scholarships. So we have dashboards that they each input their information. So I'm able to check to see how many scholarships have been awarded in each of the schools. And all that's their primary role, is to focus on those 3 areas.
Oh, wow. That's actually really cool. I didn't know that you could like opt out of things either as well.
Well, the state requires that all students submit a FAFSA application. That happened a couple years ago. But we have some students that are not that do not submit that FAFSA application, so they can opt out. But we need documentation signed by the parents, and they opted out. But the goal is to have 100% of them submit the application.
So each year there are some important deadlines for like scholarships and colleges and so on. So like what time of year would you say the students should be on the lookout for these deadlines?
I think that every year is very important, and now that admissions applications are having to be submitted earlier and earlier, we want our students their junior year to gather all that information, and then the summer before senior year complete all that documentation, their essay, their application, before school even starts. So we have a list of areas of focus for 9th graders, for 10th graders, 11th and 12th, because you can't wait till senior year to start exploring college and to start figuring out what you're going to do, because that's a little too late. Our admissions applications are much sooner now. So we want our students to be fully prepared and have everything completed between the summer between junior and senior year.
So I've noticed that like with applications they've like started like, oh, you can apply really early, and it's like
Back in the day, I've been in this business for many years. Admissions letters would come in February, March. Not anymore. Admissions letters are coming in
like
in
December.
The fall. Yes, in the fall. So we need to get all of that out very early.
And it's like the school year just started. Like, how are they doing this?
They need to know by then.
They're on top of it. So we should be too.
Yes.
So like besides scholarships, are there like other ways for students to get funding for college?
So the financial aid application helps them. So the way I explain financial aid, it's like an umbrella. So under financial aid, you have scholarships, you have grants, and you have loans. So there's opportunities through the FAFSA application, and also merit-based scholarships or financial need scholarships. So our college admissions scholarship specialists are very well versed in that, and they're able to provide that information to students based on what their needs are.
So I know counselors have like another very important role. So they can be there for students who are having a tough time, emotional issues, like stuff like that. Like, could you tell us a little bit how that works?
So our counselors are very well trained in crisis management, but a lot of what we do is guidance curriculum. We provide a lot of support via classroom lessons to make sure that we prevent issues from happening. But if a student is struggling with a particular issue, they're very well trained to provide crisis intervention. And they work in, we have protocols in place to make sure that we meet the individual needs of each child.
So like no matter what, there's like always someone you're able to go to and open up to.
And McAllen has a very unique program called the family program, the family treatment program. And that program, what we do is we have licensed professional counselors and case managers that also help us with those students that need a lot of that extra support. So that's very unique to McAllen. In other districts, the counselor is pretty much responsible for all the different responsibilities. Whereas in McAllen, we have college counselors in charge of college. We have family treatment program staff in charge that help us with crisis intervention. And then we all work together. That's very unique.
That's really cool, actually. I like that it's more specialized because it lets that counselor have more like time and ability to really focus on what the student might need.
So that's the key, is the follow-up, right? We help with helping the student in the time of need, but then it's because counselors have big caseloads, it's very difficult to follow up, but we have additional staff that helps us with that.
Actually. So like you kind of mentioned it a little bit before, but like what other roles do counselors have? Could you go a little bit more into it?
So they have they wear many hats, but the state does guide us and provides us the four main roles are the four delivery components, which is responsive services, which is crisis intervention, anything that they have to do for responsive. We have guidance curriculum, which is when they're in the classroom providing actual lessons. We have individual planning, when they sit with students and actually work on either pre-registration or college or anything, schedule changes, credit checks, everything that they do on an individual basis. And then system support, which is everything else that doesn't fit into those three categories. So that's how we break down our time. But they do wear many different hats, and the state did pass a new law, that's Senate Bill 179, which specifically states that counselors need to spend 80% of their time in counseling-related duties. So we track their time to make sure that they are spending that time in their in their field, in their area. But they do wear many hats, but the focus is student success. So if they need academic guidance, then we help them with that. If they need crisis intervention, we help them with that. If they need a schedule change or individual planning, college support, whatever the student needs, and depending on the grade level also, that's what the counselors do. We have amazing counselors at McAllen ISD.
We really do. I know mine are like always busy.
Yes.
There's always a student out there who needs help, and it's like it's cool. They're also just really nice people in general. Like if I need something done, like they're really sweet about it, and I love.
Yes, we have amazing counselors.
So where can students or like parents reach out for more information about counseling services specifically, would you say?
So our website has the counseling, there's a counseling page in every single one of our schools. So that's contact information, but they can also reach out to me and ask for any assistance, and we can either guide them to a counselor or provide them assistance directly.
So is it, because I know at Nicky Rowe, this might have, like a question, right? I know for Nicky Rowe before, they used to have counselors organized with like specific grade levels. Like they would have one counselor per grade level, but recently they switched it over to like alphabetical. So now it's like this counselor for this last name and stuff like that. Is that like an organization that like every counselor in campus is having?
At our comprehensive schools, which is Rowe, Memorial, and Mac High, Rowe and Mac High are split alpha, and Memorial still split grade level.
Oh, okay.
So it just depends on the needs of the campus. And there's different reasons for that. But the alpha breakdown helps the counselors work with families. So if there's different kids, in the same family, then if you have the alpha breakdown where you're working with the entire family. And when it's grade level, then you have a different counselor for each grade level. So it just depends on the needs of the campus. But they both work fine.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering about that because I knew that was like a newly thing that they just changed into this year.
Yes. This is the first year we did alpha breakdown at Rowe and Mac High.
Oh, okay. So I know like CTE counselors, do they also fall under like this sort of category, or are they like a different thing?
So CTE counselors are funded through CTE, so they fall directly under the CTE director. We have special ed counselors that work with special ed students that fall directly under the special ed director as well. And then all the other counselors fall under our department, which is college career counseling. But we all work together.
Yeah.
They do have different roles based on funding. So funding pretty much dictates the services that they provide.
Yeah. Well, that's about all the time that we have. Ms. Cabrera, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for this information that you shared with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
That's Extra Credit for today. I'm Ollie Perez. Thank you guys so much for watching.